So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Postman Always Rings Twice. Unless it's at my house here, in which case the UPS man doesn't ring once. I was waiting for my birth certificate on Monday. The UPS employee didn't even try to get it to me so that I could sign for it. So I had to pay $5 for the Chinese freight service down the street to leave it for me to pick up the next day. And I missed a job interview as a consequence. So that was my Monday and Tuesday. Today wasn't much better. The tax collector from Oroville called. He said, "Oh, I'm going to send you this one more paper to sign and to send back." I said, "Fine. Don't have to get it notarized. That'll save me 2 hours." So I went to the library, got it signed, scanned it, sent it back to him. I had to get gas, groceries, and rent money. So that took about 3 hours. My son was thirsty. He was craving the blood orange burnaboo. So I gave him a pepperoni jerky stick at Safeway. We went to 2 different Safeways because I kept forgetting to buy stuff. I'm still missing a yellow onion. So when I drop them off baseball practice today, I think I'll make a little pit stop to the Foster City Safeway and get him in the and get some yellow onion for my burrito tonight. Anyway, I posted the movie and the trailer in the description box, but the movie isn't buy or rent. So you better be prepared to shell some money out if you want to watch this on YouTube. I watched the John Garfield story. I saw the introduction by Richard Jewell. I saw behind the scenes image gallery, the theatrical trailer, and then the theatrical trailer of the 1981 remake. And I didn't like the John Garfield story. They keep making excuses like the House Un-American Activities Committee was some kind of a witch hunt against Jewish leftists, or left-wing Jews, I should say. As John Garfield was a Jew growing up in East Manhattan. And later he grew up in the Bronx, I guess, according to his John Garfield story. And they make an excuse that he's not a communist, he's a progressive. To me, progressive and communist means the same thing, especially when you look at Gavin Newsom here, the governor. He used to be a somewhat moderate businessman when he was mayor of San Francisco, but that all changed when he became governor. Oh boy. This market took a dump today, but my Robinhood was up 1%, about $100. So I finally bucked the trend today. That was impressive. I've got one stock that went through clinical trial. It's up about 40% in 2 days. Pretty decent. Maybe 45% in 2 days. But I only have like $500 invested in it. I wish I had like 50,000 in that company. All right. I guess I should talk about The Postman Always Rings Twice. Oh, that last movie that I saw, The Outlaw, I could have watched it in the colorized version. But I didn't. I watched the black and white version, like I always do with Shirley Temple movies. I forgot to mention that. All right. So Frank Chambers' John Garfield is an amiable, restless drifter. John Garfield was in Destination Tokyo, by the way, who has hitched a ride with a man we later learn is the local district attorney, Kyle Sackett, played by Leon Ames. What movie was Leon Ames in? Peggy Sue Got Married was his final film role, 1986. Peggy Sue Got Married. And then you've got Lana Turner from Imitation of Life. She's great as the Black Widow. Equally as good as Barbara Stanwyck in Double Indemnity, I'd say. Anyways. Kyle Sackett, Leon Ames drops Frank Chambers, John Garfield off at a rural diner service station called Twin Oaks. Lana Turner has the Twin Oaks patch on her sleeve. She's always wearing white throughout this movie, by the way. I think there's only one instance where she's wearing black, if I'm not mistaken. Frank begins working there. The diner is operated by stodgy Nick Smith, Cecil Kellaway, don't know who he is, and his beautiful, much younger wife, Cora Lana Turner. What an actress Lana Turner is. Holy cow. Frank and Cora start to have an affair soon after they meet. Cora's tired of her situation, married to a man she does not love. Her sugar daddy, working at a diner she wishes to own outright. During an attempt to run away together, Cora concludes that if she divorces Nick, she will end up with nothing. She and Frank will be no further ahead. Oh, this is 1946 family law. Today, she would have gotten ahead if she had filed divorce. They returned to Twin Oaks in time for her to retrieve the goodbye note she had left in the cash register for Nick. Cora talks Frank into murdering Nick in order for them to have the diner. The plan involves Cora striking Nick with a sock full of ball bearings and pretending he had fatally hit his head falling in the bathtub. Things go awry when a police officer stops by and a cat causes a power outage. Cora does manage to knock Nick over the head, and while severely injuring him, he is not mortally wounded. So the first attempt was a fail, but that doesn't stop him from trying again. By the way, the budget for this was $1.6 million, and the box office was $5 million. So it was, I guess you could say it was a smash hit. It quadrupled the or tripled the earnings. Something like that. The couple are thrilled when it is determined that Nick will be all right, since no foul play is suspected. Oh, really? Then why is the district attorney following them around? And that he has no recollection of how he was struck. They share a happy week running the business together, enjoying their relationship. The police officer stops by one day and tells Frank he passed Cora driving Nick back from the hospital. Frank sees there's really no hope for a definite future with her, so he decides to move on before she returns. He goes to L.A. After a couple weeks, he starts hanging around the marketplace where Nick and Cora buy most of their produce. Oh, he's asking for trouble. He's hoping to see her again. He runs into Nick, who has been looking for him. Nick insists Frank return to Twin Oaks with him, that something important is going to happen tonight and you're in on it. Not sure what that's all about. Upon Frank's return, Cora behaves coolly toward him. Yeah, on again, off again relationship here. The three of them have dinner together, and Nick announces that he will be selling Twin Oaks and that Cora and he will be moving in and with his infirm sister in the town of Kulutuk in northern Canada. She is not at all thrilled about that. In fact, I think the sister had a heart attack. That's why she's an infirm. That night, Cora is desperate. Frank finds her in the kitchen with a knife. She says she was going to use on herself. Frank agrees to kill Nick. The next day, the three of them are to drive to Santa Barbara to finalize the sale of Twin Oaks. Frank and Cora intend to stage a drunk driving accident. Sackett stops by to air his tire. Frank and Cora stage an argument where she insists on driving due to the men's inebriation. Both of them are men. She's got a love triangle going with a couple of drunk guys. This establishes that Nick is drunk. On a deserted stretch of road, Frank kills Nick with a blow to the head and then sends the car off the cliff. However, Frank is caught in the car too and injured. It's a miracle that he's still alive because he's rolling over in the car as it goes off the cliff. Sackett, who had been following them, arrives to find Cora crying for help, but he's not buying her crying bit. District Attorney files murder charges against only Cora, hoping to divide her and Frank. This is where it starts getting interesting. The buildup is kind of slow, but right up to the point of the second murder, I think it really started picking up fast. Lots of twists and turns and interesting legal maneuvers. All right. This is the nitty-gritty. This is like the Perry Mason stuff. Although this ploy works temporarily, a clever measure by Cora's lawyer, Arthur Keats, Hume Cronyn, another great performance by famous actor Hume Cronyn, prevents Cora's full confession from coming in the hands of the prosecutor. Yeah, he's got this guy Kennedy who's dictating Cora's confession because she's really hot-headed and she wants to go after Frank now. But the guy who's typing up the confession actually works for Arthur Keats, Hume Cronyn, not the prosecutor. So he's going to keep it in a safe. That comes back to bite him later. Anyway, Cora secures a plea bargain in which she pleads guilty to manslaughter and receives probation. And she's got a bewildered look on her face in the courtroom. Oh, I'm free to go. Publicity from the murder makes Twin Oaks very successful, but things remain tense between Frank and Cora. Yeah, she gets a beer license. She starts serving beer. Everybody's getting drunk at the Twin Oaks. They marry in order to protect themselves from being forced to testify against each other. Okay. I didn't catch that, but this is from Wikipedia under the plot. I'm reading it again because I don't care about you if you think reading from Wikipedia is a weak sign of my review. When Cora leaves to take care of her sick mother, Frank has a brief fling with a woman. After Cora returns, a man named Kennedy, who had worked as an investigator for her attorney, shows up and attempts to blackmail her with the confession. Frank beats up Kennedy, and his partner takes a signed confession from them. Not only one signed confession, the negative and the photocopy, two signed confessions. Cora tells Frank that she knows about his affair. Oh, she's mad. Like I said, on again, off again. The two argue but reconcile, and Cora announces that she's pregos with his child, probably out of wedlock before they got married. She speculates that the new life they have created may balance out the one that they took. So she's saying, we took away one life and we're bringing back another life. So we're even in the eyes of God. I don't think it works that way, but interesting scorekeeping there. I think it. I think Frank uses that kind of scorekeeping at the end also, so it kind of comes back later, and not too much later either, because this is about the end of the movie right here. They go to the beach and swim, realizing that they still love each other. So Cora wants to go way out far into the ocean because she's too weak to go back, and Frank has to carry her. If Frank doesn't trust her, then he's not going to carry her back. But if she does trust him, then he will carry her back. So he carries her back, but then Frank accidentally crashes the car and kills Cora. That was the scene that my son kind of jumped, like, what was that? And he started looking at it. Frank is tried and convicted for killing Cora. Why? It was an accident. While on death row, he is visited by a priest and by District Attorney Sackett, who confronts him with the evidence of his involvement in Nick's murder. I think it was a note in the back of a cash register. I couldn't quite follow, but I think that's what it was. And reasons that if he resists his legal fate and Cora's death, that he'll only wind up back where he is with the conviction for Nick's murder. Frank accepts that while he is innocent of Cora's murder, his execution will be fitting punishment for his murder of Nick. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Now, the remake, Lana Turner didn't even bother to watch. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Here we go. It's the 1981 U.S. neo-noir erotic thriller film, the remake. Lana Turner did not like. The star of the 1946 version, Lana Turner, did not watch the remake, but she said that she had seen advertisements and blurbs on television that made her sick. She resented how the studio turned it into such pornographic trash. Good for you, Lana Turner. I've never seen the remake, so I can't really comment on that. But I'm about to watch Dick Tracy Returns. I didn't get that other disc on Netflix that I was expecting today. I wasted about 3 hours going grocery shopping, getting gas, getting rent money, going to the library, taking care of my mother's estate so that I get all of it. Oh man, I'm just wondering if Uncle Sam will come back for his pound of flesh, try to get half of what I'm taking. And it's only going to take 2 to 3 weeks, according to the tax collector, for me to receive the check. So we're looking at mid-July sometime, which is good because when I first talked to him, he said it would be 4 to 6 weeks, but it'll probably be sooner than that. So I like the sooner than that because I'm only working one job. I haven't had time to look for work. I missed 2 interviews this week. One was my fault. The other one just didn't even bother calling me after they promised to call me yesterday. So I cut Karate Man's chat short for no reason. All right, I got the Pride of the Yankees with Is that with what's his name? Gary Cooper. That's right. We hated the outlaw. We loved the postman always rings twice. I'm not used to rating Netflix disc 5 out of 5 stars because I've gotten so many horrible ones, so many lamestream movies from the 30s and 40s. Oh, what was I going to say about the censorship issues surrounding the postman always rings twice? I got to go back and look that up on Wikipedia. All right, so I got Dick Tracy Returns on my list, 1938. Daredevils of the Red Circle, 1939. Curse of the Stone Hand, 1965. Gallery of Horrors, 1967. The Hostage. Blood Beach, 1980. Lady Whirlwind, 1972. Heavy Traffic, 1973. Shoot Fighter, Fight to the Death, 1993. Tales from the Crypt, 1974. Inflation, 1940. Without Warning, 1980. And Revolt of the Zombies, 1946. Oh, Inflation is 1942, sorry. Inflation does not offer rational reasons for recommending certain behavior. It attempts to play on the emotions of the viewer. FDR outlines the unprecedented steps the government is about to take during the early months of World War II to control the U.S. economy. We don't like central planning from FDR. All right. Let's talk censorship here. In early 1934, before Kane's novel was published, this is a 1946 U.S. film noir based on the 1934 novel of the same name by James M. Cain. There, I said it. RKO executive Marion C. Cooper submitted a synopsis of his story to the Production Code Administration, PCA, which reviewed movie scripts using the Motion Picture Production Code, commonly known as the Hays Code. Upon receiving the synopsis with its themes of adultery and murder, the PCA persuaded RKO to abandon its plans to film Kane's story, calling it definitely unsuitable for movie picture production. After Kane's novel was released in 1934, presumably after early February, I should say, Columbia Pictures and Warner Brothers expressed interest in the property, but Warner Brothers quickly rejected the story out of concern that the film version would run afoul of censors. MGM purchased the rights to make a movie adaptation a full 12 years prior to the film's release. They didn't go forward with the project earlier as the Hays Codes began to be rigorously enforced very shortly after they had acquired the rights. The studio finally decided to proceed in 1944 upon observing the success of Paramount's film adaptation of Kane's novella Double Indemnity, another great flick. Probably the greatest film noir of all time is Double Indemnity. This one comes pretty close. It's right up there, which violated many of the same moral taboos. Lana Turner's character, Cora Smith, wore all white in every scene except for 3 in which she wore all black. Oh, I said there was only one. There was 3. With the knife in the kitchen contemplating suicide at the train station returning from her mother's death, and when she was calling the taxi cab so she could leave Frank. In In 1936, Kane adapted his novel as a play, which had 72 performances at Lyceum Theater in New York from February to April 1936. With minor role played by Joseph Cotton. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that's everything you ever wanted to know. Oh, there's Naked HD XYZ. There's Naked HD XYZ. There's Naked HD XYZ. It says Tinder overpriced poop. Try us 18 plus. What does that mean?
Tinder is free, right?
You can get the premium version, which costs money. That gives you unlimited swipes, right? Because if you get the free version, you only get like 500 swipes. But if you get the pay version, you can swipe all day long if you want. That's how Tinder works. All right, I just reported Naked HD XYZ. They'd been gone for months, and all of a sudden they came out of nowhere. I guess they're back in business. All right, cool. So I'm gonna take a little nappy poo, maybe watch some Dick Tracy Returns. These serials are going to take me forever. They're like 3.5 hours each. And that's without the cliffhangers. And the cliffhangers kind of go in. They kind of hit the end of each episode, and then they start again with a little bit different, less cliffhangery beginning of each episode. So you get to see the same scenes twice, and a lot of times the YouTuber uploading it will eliminate the cliffhangers at the end, and they'll just run it all the way through like a movie. So that's my deal. Be watching serials, my favorite, laters.